This guy is jumping up, speaking of weight class, to welterweight. He's going to fight Rafael dos Anjos. Let's go to him now. The Motown Phenom is here. Kevin Lee. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
What's going on, Luke? How
Long,
you doing, my man?
Good, man. Long time no speak. How have you been since the Iaquinta fight?
Smooth. Everything's starting to fall back into place. It's like the perfect time for me to get ready to go back into a training camp. Everything else in my life outside of it is starting to finally come around. So I'm excited about this one. It was one that I've been kind of like hesitant about moving up to 170, but now seeing like especially how the rest of the division is looking, I'm fucking excited.
All right, so what was the impetus? What finally made you say, you know what, man, F this lightweight nonsense. I'm going to go to welterweight. Was it the opponent, the timing, as you mentioned, some of the other people? Give me the explanation.
Really, honestly, it was the timing. I just wanted to fight. It didn't matter who it was, when it was, where, what weight class, any of that. I needed to fight. And everybody kept playing games at 155. I kept offering myself to guys that were way lower in the rankings to me, guys that were completely unranked. They approached with the fight, and nobody would accept. So uh, we ended up finding RDA out there. RDA has already fought the who's who of anybody. So he accepted without any hesitation. So I'm like, okay, cool. Anyway, I come in at about 178, 179 on fight weeks, even when I'm cutting down to 155. So I'm excited to see how this weight cut is gonna go and how much different I'm gonna feel stepping into the cage with like a little bit more full energy and full strength.
Let's rewind if we can. Before we talk about the step ahead, I want to talk about the step behind. There were a lot of things that went well for you in the Iaquinta fight. Obviously, it didn't go your way in the end. Looking back on it, how do you feel about it?
I take it as a learning experience. That's all I really can do. I think I still approached that fight pretty wrong. I think there were some things that needed fixing in my corner, especially. I think if the corner work and the way I approached, especially those last two rounds, would have been different, then that fight would have been completely different. But I take it as a learning experience. That's really all it is. Especially when against a guy like Al, he's tough. He's gonna keep pushing. Uh, I the problem is I didn't see him as much of a threat, as big of a threat as I should have, and that's just one thing that you learn through experience in this game, and by continuing to fight and continuing to get these types of opponents. So, overall, I'm not really like happy with it. Obviously, I mean it is what it is. I ain't really even watched the fight since it. I'll probably watch it in a little bit just to get a better understanding of everything, but it is what it is, right?
So you're switching up your corner?
Yeah, I'm removing a guy that I had in before. But mostly we switching up the way that we're gonna approach it in our communication, and just because this is fighting. It's very personal. It's not like it's not like any other sport to me. So when I need to be told certain shit in the corner, especially when the times are real tough, then my corner needs to know. Like, go ahead and just tell me. And I'm not one to really like spare feelings anyway. And I feel like they were trying to like kind of playing me a little bit. So sometimes I just need to be told straight, like, hey, look, get your shit together. Like, let's pull this out. And you can bitch and whine about it later. And I felt like, maybe they didn't do that and need to make the adjustments. And it's me too that need to make the adjustments for myself and be able to see those things.
How hard is it to get into that kind of a trust and understanding with a corner where they know what works well for you and what doesn't?
I mean, it takes years, and it's because you have so many guys in the corner too. It's about how each of their energy feeds off of each other. So it takes a long time to get that bond and that relationship going, and that many fights. And sometimes you just got to go through those little hiccups here and there. But you learn from it. You get better as a even though this is totally individual, it's still kind of a team sport, and it's still kind of we all kind of learn at the same time. So it takes years, and that's just what it is. That's just the game. I'm still real young in the sport. I'm still learning a lot about it. I feel like going up to 170 is going to be huge in me, and keeping that same energy in those last couple rounds, and then keeping my mind completely clear. So we'll see how this whole thing shake out.
170 is in a bit of a shakeup scenario, right? Because you just saw what Jorge Masvidal did. You just saw what Pettis did. The champ just lost. The whole thing is being shaken up. Is that part of the reason why it's like double dutch? You ever seen the girls do double dutch and they got the ropes going and you got to find your time and you just got to get in there at the right moment, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I even was kind of looking at it. I approached this fight before any of that even happened. And 170, I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'm gonna go up and just kind of do my thing because I wanted to fight anyway. And then I was gonna kind of see how it was gonna go. The thing that always kind of made me hesitant about moving to 170 is 155 had the bigger fights. Khabib was out there, and that was kind of the fight that I really was pushing for. But when Usman beat Woodley, that kind of shook everything up. So, I'm only focused on one man at a time. RDA is really somebody that I can't look through. He's somebody that is definitely going to get my full attention. But after this fight, it's giving me a little bit of excitement. It's giving me a little bit of pep in my step in the morning. I'm like, okay, well, we got some fresh blood in here. So I'm here to shake things. I'm here to shake shit up even a little bit more.
Okay, so there's a few questions here about welterweight. First of all, what is your walking around weight? Like today, what are you?
I'm about 181. So, normally this is, I used to get much heavier, but I've been about 180, 181 for the past year and a half there.
All right, so you'll be, fair to say, you'll be on the smaller end of welterweight.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when I look at other guys, maybe, but Pettis just showed too this last Saturday. Sometimes that size really don't matter. Especially when you talk about speed and durability. That size necessarily. I mean, I feel like I can out technique a lot of these guys. When I see even a lot of their wrestling at 170, it's like a lot of it's very basic. So I feel like technique, speed, and durability will outlast the strength. I mean, I'll let you know after May 18th exactly how it all go down. I'm kind of figuring the shit out with you.
Here's what's weird about this whole thing. Did you watch the Garcia Spence boxing match?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he killed him.
So I'm watching that. You got Mikey Garcia, who is a hell of a boxer and an amazing technician. And okay, Spence might just be one of the best boxers we have right now, but there was such a clear difference in power. Now, you do see fighters like Pacquiao who collect a bunch of weight belts or Mayweather, but those are like all-time greats. It seems to me in MMA, man, you can jump up 15 pounds and make a splash pretty quickly. Why is that?
I think it's just because there's so much other things in it. It's more of a complete art, whereas boxing is it's a science. So there was no way that there's only so many places that you can go in boxing. Mikey Garcia tried to fight him on the outside, was getting killed just because Spence was so much longer and he's throwing such straight punches and knew how to move in and out so well. But then he was killing him on the inside too. And really in boxing, you really only got 3-4 areas that you could fight a guy in. And Spence just outclassed him in every one of those areas. Whereas opposed to MMA, I mean, you can fight a guy in 12, 13 different areas maybe. So I think that might be the difference. And smaller guys, I think have more, we spend more time on the technique and because you kind of have to, you're going against heavier guys, you're going against guys where you got to use the leverage and you got to use the technique behind it. Whereas maybe bigger guys, I don't know. I mean, in that fight in particular, I mean, Garcia just didn't stand a chance. He was getting outclassed from start to finish. But in MMA, that would have been a different show. It would have been, Garcia could have had a couple more weapons to use to where some of the middle rounds, okay, this ain't working, we can go to something else. So, I think that's where the biggest difference. I think that's why MMA is a little bit more exciting too.
That's actually a pretty good explanation. All right, so let me ask you some other things. I have been watching your career for a long time at this point, and I can't quite tell what posture mentally you have to adopt for success. Because sometimes I see you come out super aggro, F this, F that, and you go and just dominate a guy, right? But then other times I see you adopt that posture and it doesn't go so great. And then sometimes I see you take a humility and then you go and dominate. Have you figured out where you need to be in a competitive mind space to be your best?
Yeah. I mean, I see the same thing that you're saying. So I don't know. I kind of just go with the wind, and I kind of I listen to the universe, and I just go wherever it tell me to go. And I feel like even when I lose, I still win. So I really don't. It don't be no skin off my teeth, really. Uh, I just I think that's just kind of what life is. I change from fight to fight. Each fight is completely different. But then I feel like I change day to day too, in my approach to certain things. And I just kind of go with it. I don't. I'm not one necessarily to kind of hide that fact and that kind of hide from what I see as the truth. So I just go out and I don't know if I feel like talking some shit today, then I'm gonna talk some shit. If I don't, then I'm not. And I don't really like, I think people have a different idea that I like plan these things or I'm thinking about it or I'm sitting through and like, no, I'm just kind of go with how I feel and I'm gonna take whatever energy that other people give me. So I'm gonna take whatever energy the RDA is gonna give me. We going on the on sale. I'm leaving here from Michigan over to New York on Thursday for the on sale. So I'm gonna see RDA there. I'm gonna see what type of energy he give me. If he give me some, if he give me something to play with, then we can play. If you want to be cool and we can play that role too. We can play the humble, cool role too. So I don't know. We'll see,
Let's talk about RDA as a
and then we'll see how
competitor.
that folds over into the fight.
Sure. Let's talk about him as a competitor
Yeah.
here for a second. He's a guy who, man, he is,
Yeah.
he's had some ups, had some downs, but he has fought the toughest of the
Mhm.
tough, and can kind of do
Mhm.
it all. But you saw in the Usman fight. Now, Usman is a monster welterweight, okay, but there have been some wrestling shortcomings. I'm wondering if you have identified those as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple things. I've been watching a lot of film on him. He's got a lot of film out there. He's got a lot of fights, especially in the UFC. So I, breaking down the film with him has been fun. There's a couple things in there that I see as being some places that I could take advantage. But I'm definitely not. I mean, RDA can't be somebody that you underestimate. He's fought way bigger guys. He's fought smaller guys. He's fought a lot of southpaws, a lot of orthodox guys. He's fought a lot of people, and is never out of a fight. Nobody's ever, even in the fight with Usman. RDA had a couple moments in there to where he's not going to get completely dominated. So a fight like this really kind of get me up. I think these are the type of fights that I love that are the biggest challenges. You speak on the Iaquinta fight, and just to go back, and I'm like, I didn't see him as that big of a threat to me, but RDA is. RDA is somebody. If you give him the moment, it don't matter if he's lost 3, 4 in a row. He'll come out and he'll put your lights out. So I got to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's the entire time, and that kind of excites me a little bit. So him competitor wise, RDA is definitely up there with the top. I mean, he's ranked in the top 5 of 2 different weight classes for a reason.
Have you given up hope on 165 happening anytime soon?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm gonna let them. Askren is out there doing my dirty work for me now. So I'm gonna let Askren see if he can get in Dana's head a little bit and keep making some noise about it. But I ain't gonna keep beating no dead horse. And just know when it comes, it's not even a matter of if. It's a matter of when. When it comes, just know I'm in there and I'm always gonna be the top dog. So
Let's
I'm gonna let some of these other guys kind of do the chirping.
Yeah, there's a lot of chirping out there. So the good news is you can tag team. They can take over for the moment. Let's talk about lightweight for a second, man. It's you're going to welterweight as you mentioned Askren. There's another new addition to the whole situation that's changing things up. But lightweight, man, the top of it's a bit of a mess. We don't really know what's going to happen with Khabib. You got Poirier and Max, which is a great fight, but we don't know what's going to happen with Max at featherweight. And then you got Tony, who obviously is having some legitimate, real life struggles. I don't want to,
Mhm.
I want to be respectful of those. It's
Yeah.
like what do you make of the division right now? It's the marquee division, but you can't really showcase really a lot of parts of it.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of it kind of went stagnant, which is a real shame. Like you said, I mean, it's always been one of the best divisions in the UFC. There's just so many ups and so many questions, and part of me was like, this is where I said I wanted to be, and this is where I started and where I'm gonna finish, especially with fighting Khabib. But when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna sit around and wait for these other guys to fight and try and it's too many politics going on. And like you said, Max is now fighting Dustin. Tony's sitting out, which I'm sad about that whole situation. And all these other things, and nobody wants to fight, and guys only want like these certain fights just to push them up. And Connor's kind of calling the shot still. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck all this. I'm mostly worried about me anyway. To me, I'm the top dog, so it's what's best for my career and going forward. Those fights are still going to be out there. I still am 100% confident I can make 155 again. But we'll see after. I preferred this fight at 170. 155 is, you know, they need to get their shit together. That's all. I think it'll come together towards the end of this year.
Mm.
But I wasn't about to sit around and wait for them.
Would you be willing to go back and forth?
I mean, we'll have to see what this whole how it shake up. You got, like you say, you got Pettis look great, Masvidal look great. You still got Askren out there. You got Ponzinibbio. You got Leon Edwards. And like I said, Usman's not a champ. So Mama Woodley warned him. So I'm here. I'm coming for him. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's been nothing but respect between me and Usman, and I kind of want to still, I want to honor that. But as a competitor, I'm probably gonna be on his heels. We'll see. We'll see after
Yeah.
this fight.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. How long have you known Kamaru, by the way?
It's been a couple years. There
Okay.
are certain guys that like right out the gate you kind of make notice of, and we kind of both kind of did the double take at each other at the same time. Um, I want to say I met him. I was at his fight with RDA, but I met him maybe like 2 years before that. He's been in and out of training, and I kind of see him through the gyms, and there's just certain guys that you just kind of know as a competitor. You're like, oh, okay, we cool, but okay, I see you. You see me. You got that look like I see you. You see me. So, we'll see.
All right, so let's ask about you here one more time. So you got this fight with RDA coming up in May, jumping up a new weight class, coming off of that loss, making some changes in the corner. So are you in a rebound period? Are you in a growth period? Are you in a no label period? When you think about what this is, what this next fight is about, and what it says about you, what is it?
It's growth. If I had to put, those words on it, um, I would be more likely to say no label, just because it's so hard to get a grip on it. But for me, it's growth, and it's going to be showing, regardless of what happens, regardless of how life gonna hit me, I'm gonna keep coming back and I'm gonna get stronger. So that's all that I think that people are really excited to see me fight either way. As soon as this fight was announced, I've got more buzz about this one than any other fight, including the title fight before. So I think it's about me coming back and just showing that I'm still out here, that I'm still just as strong, even stronger than before, and especially with the right mental space, there's not going to be a man that can stop me. So I kind of want to do it for everybody else too. I did something a little bit on Instagram. I don't really talk too much on there, but sometimes I kind of want to shed some light on some real issues and some real things. Instagram be so much about putting out there what you want people to see, and to make yourself look good and all that. But I've been dealing with some stuff personally with my brother, my youngest brother being in jail. I've got two brothers. I'm out here in Michigan right now. The My middle brother, he's getting ready to fight, which I'm super proud of him. He's getting ready to fight on Wednesday, which is gonna put some new life into me. But my youngest is kind of going through those little trials and tribulations. So I'm gonna make sure that I put on for him, do this fight right, and make sure that everybody see it's still a really bright future out there, no matter what happens.
So just real quickly, did you relocate to Michigan, or are you there just to deal with this particular episode?
No, I'm there just to deal with just to deal with this. I'm only out here for 3 days, and then I'm straight back to Vegas. I just got here yesterday. I leave on Thursday, and then back to Vegas.
Well, you know what? You have made something of yourself, and I know it's just the beginning. There's a lot more ahead, including this Dos Anjos fight. Last question for you. Uh, Fighting on streaming service. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's new. I think it's something that was coming. It's something that they should go all the way in on. They're already offering like the pay-per-views. You can only buy them through ESPN Plus. I think you look at like that DAZN, you know, they do it without having to buy the pay-per-view, so they should just go all in on it. I think it'll be a better it'd be better for everybody. It'd be better for us fighters too, because you know pay-per-view is starting to kind of die off. You know, you really only getting those really big pay-per-views, and I feel like you know they use those numbers to kind of hold against a guy when it comes time to negotiate, and you're not really seeing our true negotiation power as fighters. You know, sometimes I feel like they hold that against certain champions who only you know you only sell X amount of pay-per-views, but it's like you know that's a dying medium. So we can use something like these streaming services and kind of you know I think that could be a little better for everybody if they get it right. They just got to get it right. So I mean I don't know that ain't my job. I leave that to them to do. The UFC is great. They do what they do. They've been the top for a very long time for a reason. So you know I kind of go with the flow.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see your next fight. This will be May 18th at the Blue Cross Arena in Rochester, New York. Newly minted welterweight Kevin Lee. Looking forward to seeing it, Mr. Motown Phenom.
Long and strong. You can't wait, boy.
There he goes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
there he goes.